before we get started, shout out to Cape Cod John for letting me take a look at this piece. I greatly appreciate it. As for what all this stuff is for, let's wait and see how it goes. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite one step forward, two steps back favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Fansproject Browning. Well, let's just get right into it. First of all, accessory-wise, as you can see, he holds his guns just fine. We'll take those out and take a look at them briefly. They are identical. You get two of them, and it's got a handle. It's on a hinge here. It's two pieces of plastic screwed together here, not a lick of paint. And this moves up so it can lock in helicopter mode. We'll talk about that when we get there. But he comes with two of them, and then he comes with the head master, so to speak. And we will take a look at that real quick. It's fine. The actual brow, ironically enough, does mess with me. Like, it has a tendency to shift and move, and then it brings the glasses up with it because it has like. We'll just take it out. We'll also talk about, like, so the head fits in there, right? This head does not, from Smart Robin, so that's a bit of a bummer. That just seems like an oversight, an absurd oversight, to be honest, because it doesn't ultimately matter to me, but I know that that kind of gimmick matters to a lot of Transformer fans. So then, conversely, when it comes to Smart Robin, this head doesn't fit in either, so people that are into that sort of a gimmick just kind of lose in a big way. We'll talk about the articulation of the Headmaster, though. And you get the swivel, as we're used to, and then that same piece does rock up if you put it in like that. So he can look down, or you can spin it around, take the head out, spin it, and then he can look up a bit more, depending on how you move that. Just worth noting. We'll talk about the Headmaster himself now. It's fine. This is the glasses bit, and it comes down, and then this comes down. But a lot of times it catches, and like it'll both move up and out of the way, and it just ruins it. It has a silver finish on the face, which does look pretty good, and then the blue on the eyes are painted, and that does look good as well. And then it has the gray vents that are painted. To transform them, you just rock the legs down, bring the kind of forehead up, which does cover the face. That's something that they've always done, and I've always liked. No paint on the face. Arms swivel at the shoulders, and then you get a swivel at the hip up to there, and then the knee bends, of course, past 90 degrees for transformation. And that's this guy. And now we can set him to the side. Now let's talk about the figure. One thing I will say straight off the bat is that, like, it doesn't feel like as sturdy and solid as normal Fansproject releases. It just kind of feels like everything's a bit thrown together. It's more of an subjective thing from my perspective, but I know other people who have this and have looked at it, and they kind of felt the same way. So at least it's somewhat of a popular opinion. Great paint apps on the chest. The white, the red down on the blue, the darker blue, and the gray, which I think is paint. It might be a separate piece of plastic. I can't tell. Either way, it looks good. The arm is on a ratchet here, and then it hinges out to there, so articulation there is good. Bicep swivel at the elbow, and the elbow is a single joint but gets you past 90 degrees, so the articulation is good there. The wrist is on a swivel. However, this is supposed to plug into this, but it doesn't really stay. That's another one of these things that's kind of a general theme with this review, is that things just sort of seem unfinished. The red and yellow paint look great, as does this little bit of black paint down there, which I wouldn't normally. Actually, that might be part of the pin, but yeah, it's part of the pin. So disregard that. But either way, it breaks up the sculpt nicely. Same on this side. Waist swivel, and you get the full swivel. Back of the figure cleans up really well. No problems there. The forearm kibbles a bit. You know, it's going to be in your way, but you know, it's a helicopter. What are you going to do? Universal joints for hips. They're on ratchets. They're not the best feeling ratchets, but they're there. Up to there. Back to there. And then out to the full split. thigh swivel, not like a pain on the pelvis, hips or thighs. Thigh swivel, knee ratcheted, single joint. They didn't, they may not have been able to, but the sculpt does break there. They tried to continue it through, so I'll give them like a nod for effort, but at an absurd angle you do lose it. But it's a nice ratchet in there. And then you got a ball peg going down into the ankle, which gets you a tilt down, up. You on this foot you got a bit of a heel spur, I guess, articulation, and a toe tilt if you want to count that. And then the rocker is a bit limited as well, there to there. And that is this guy. There's a bit of this is going to bother some people more than others. It doesn't really bother me necessarily, but there's definitely an asymmetrical thing going on here between the knee and the foot, and this knee and this foot. So just you know, different strokes for different folks, but I know that could potentially bother someone.
Not symmetrical. Not symmetrical. Mountain Dew. Unlike some of my other purchases, you never fail me.
Alright, so some of the things that you can do with the arms. Open up this piece here. It folds around to the back. Rotate the bicep swivel. Bring the hand around, which allows you to open this up, and then bring the hand back around. I'm not sure if there's a specific, that might be it there. And then fold this and collapse it. Then the rotors do come up, but you can leave them down for now. So let's do that again for the other side. Open this up, spin this around, open the hand, open this piece here, put the hand in, close it up. We have this cockpit piece which has to come around and then flips this other piece underneath, so we can do that now. Rotate the arms 180 degrees. Rock the chest cavity down so that this little bit here kind of keeps tension on the place where the headmaster goes. Alright, so we're going to get this foot squared away first. Turn the universal joint up. Rotate these two pieces by splitting the foot down. Then this will flip up and hold this. These two open spaces here fit around these two pegs there. Oh, I'm sorry, forgot one step. And I have a hard time with this, but split that open. It's on the thigh. That'll give you the clearance to get this up. And this can be a little challenging, just in the sense of getting everything to line up properly, but I will try to show you the best I can. Easier said than done, but I got one side and the other side, and then the canopy should come down and tab into the sides, and then you can kind of clean it up and rotate the nose cone down, and that's the front end done. And then for the other leg, once again, make sure that the universal joint is facing up, then rotate at the thigh. This will allow you to bend at the hip to get this piece underneath that tab. And there you go. And then this piece plugs into the top, the piece on the knee. And then the foot, you know, it's like that, sort of, I guess whatever you want to do. And then you have this piece that's done. Bring up these blades, open them up. No fuss, no muss. Same on the other side. No fuss, no muss. And then of course you can fit your headmaster in, opening up the canopy, taking them, and let's see, sit them down in there. Close it back up. I'll get them cleaned up, we'll put the guns on and we'll take a look. Okay, I'm not crazy about it, but at the same time I don't fully hate it. I do like the way that these peg in here, like this is how you arm it up. It's a very secure kind of connection. A lot of times, you know, I feel like stuff like that becomes fiddly, but that actually looks pretty cool. You can kind of put it inside like that, you know. It doesn't sit 100% flush, but you know, whatever you want to do. And I don't hate this. I don't hate this mode. I do I do find a couple things about it a little strange. Like, I think that in a lot of ways, it still really looks like a robot sitting in a position of a helicopter. And there are things here that I wish, like these are ratcheted, so that's supposed to keep it in place, but I wish this plugged in somehow to kind of keep that secure. These spin. You got to have it just right to kind of not bump into the figure, which isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. But you know, this moves a little bit because it's the foot, and I don't know. It's just kind of like good enough. You know, it doesn't really wow you, but there's nothing really hateful about it either. They show in the picture this thing sitting on the back, and maybe I just don't get it. Like, in order to keep it level, like because it doesn't have a rear landing gear, which it should. But like, there's a size comparison next to our Tiger Tracks. I don't know. I think the red looks nice on it, and the instructions, they have that bit sitting there, but I can't find that bit. I don't know exactly what it's referring to, so for now it's just a little back heavy. And size comparison wise, there he is with the Deluxe, a fellow Fansproject Deluxe, and a Legends class figure from Iron Factory. So he's actually slightly taller than Smart Robin, so he should fit in that regard just fine. Final thoughts wise, the negatives really come down to a lack of polish. You know, it just doesn't seem like a polished release from a professional company, which I think we've all, at least at one point, considered Fansproject. You know, this doesn't seem like the Atlas I just looked at. You know, this seems like the kind of typical stuff I've been seeing from Fansproject over the last couple years, and it's a real bummer. It's just, I don't feel the love here, and maybe that's mistaken, maybe that's misplaced. You know, because a lot of these headmasters and stuff were revealed so long ago, but they were released so much later that maybe the times have just surpassed the release. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe when we saw these designs initially, had they released them like 1 or 2 months or 3 months after that, we'd have been like, wow, this is what we need in our lives. But at this point in the game, it just doesn't feel like it's of the caliber that the competing companies are producing. And to be honest, it doesn't even really compete with that fella. Now, to be fair, he's arguably, but probably, the best of the line. But it's just, there's just not the, I don't know exactly how to put it. There's not the smooth finish. Like, it almost like it doesn't feel complete. It almost like it feels like what I would imagine a test shot to feel like. It seems unfinished. And it took forever to get here. And I think that that's going to be the major disappointment for a lot of people that purchased this fella, is that they waited, they had faith, and in the end, I'm not sure that it delivers. There still are some charms, though. If you get him posed and put him on a shelf, he will stand in fine. The aesthetic does generally fit in with their previous releases of the same line. I personally found the transformation to be kind of fun and interesting. I also fully acknowledge that it's not as much of a complete transformation as we're used to. Like, it seems like it's just kind of forms the general shape of the helicopter, like especially underneath the body of the helicopter. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't find it fun to go back and forth. I do. You know, it does have some articulation. I wish it had a bit more in the ankle rocker department, but it does have articulation pretty well accounted for across the board. I know for a fact they can do better, and I think that's where the frustration comes. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.